We're back for another
That's
episode.
my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
What is up, fam? We're back. Another episode of the Weekly Roundup. Happy freaking New Year. It is 2022. 2021 is over. Here we go. A new year, a new chapter. We're back for another fun one. You know, appreciate everyone who tuned in during Christmas. We had like 4,000 listeners. I think total just on our Facebook feed. It was awesome. Great show. We got another fun one for you tonight. Obviously, a little bit different. You know, Zach's got a new job, so my man Daniel Berkeley over here from my Cage IQ is gonna help me out. Marcus Thomas should be here joining us in a few minutes. We're gonna be talking some Eagles, talking some Sixers. In the second hour, we got the new guy to BKFC, Rynell Riley, you know, fresh off of his third round TKO victory for back in early December for Fight Night Tampa. He's going to be joining us. One of the Smith brother management guys. One of their new signees. Going to be a fun one. You know, we're going to be talking everything in between Eagles, Sixers. You know, a lot of stuff happened in sports, college sports. You know, we got a jam-packed one. First off, what is up, my friend? Appreciate you hopping on.
Thanks for having me, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, brother. Make sure everyone out there, hope everyone had a safe and happy New Year. And before we get too much further into this, let me remind everybody, each and every episode here at the Weekly Roundup on HD Radio is sponsored by eXp Realty LLC. So making sure if you guys are looking for a new career, buy or sell a home, looking for a change in career and brokerage, contact my man Alan Foy over at eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alanfoy at exprealty.com. And, you know, definitely definitely got to show my man Alan some love. He, you know, we were going to try to get him on there tonight. Hopefully we can get him on here next week to get the coach's corner returning. Obviously he's got some more engagements the week before. He was coaching his kids. So we gotta get Alan back on here. But want to quick switch gears here. Obviously we're going to get into some Eagles talk. Want to see how everyone's feeling about last week's win. You know, obviously, you know, Giants. You know, I was one of the games I felt like the Eagles kind of had to respond to. They're the team. In my opinion, kind of really punched them in the mouth a little bit. You know, gave a lot of people big doubts on what Jalen Hurts really is, etc. It is definitely interesting. In that first half, it definitely left much to be desired. Obviously, you know, they got it right in the second half. They started doing their stuff, and you know, our Eagles wound up taking off that the run game started working. That offensive line started beating them up. What were your thoughts on that game last week, my friend?
I agree with you. It seemed like a few weeks ago we played them, just like you said, they punched us in the mouth. They caused a lot of turnovers. So then we came into this game and we started to do the same thing in the first half, but I felt like at least the defense was on point the whole game. They didn't give up that many yards the whole game, but I felt like they tried to take too many chances early. And then in the second half, they went back to the run, the thing that has been our bread and butter over the last few weeks. No matter who's back there, with the offensive line and how they've been playing, and we're able to run the ball, and that's what we need to stick to right now. Because I know we're going to talk about it a little bit with Jalen Hurts. He's going to be a work in progress the next year or two. With him just starting to play quarterback when he came to Alabama, the first couple of years there, he was basically a run option quarterback. He was handing the ball off to the two running backs that they had. And then he would run, and then he developed a little bit more passing, but he's more of like a run read guy right now. So for the rest of the year, I feel like they need to run the ball, show a little bit more formations with that, and stick to that, and then use the run to get the passing game going, and not the opposite way around.
Yeah, man, it's I still feel what really got him in trouble early in that game was just passing too early.
Mm-hmm.
That you have one of the most underrated, underestimated offensive lines in the NFL, my opinion. Obviously they came in ranked like 13th coming in. Injury riddled offensive line, I think is the strength of this team. I think continue moving forward. First and second down for the most part should be runs. Third, second down's kind of your like. I think in my opinion, no matter what, you should be running the ball first down regardless of what anyone's formation. But we're gonna see what's up. We're gonna see what's up with this team moving forward. I want to get your thoughts on the poll question real fast, but before I get into the poll question, and our poll question is brought to you by Manscaped. Use that 20% code offer for HTD free shipping. Manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence. Always use the right tool with Manscaped. I love chucking them up with them on social media too. Make sure you're checking them out on social media. They're absolutely funny, especially on Twitter. But poll question. Get your thoughts on first. Daniel, looks like Marcus is in the back here, so we'll get his thoughts in a second. Even with Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard not playing, the Philadelphia Eagles will win the last two games of the season. Agree, disagree. First, starting it off, I guess we'll go with Daniel and get Marcus in here right afterwards.
And first off, I think Jordan Howard, he's questionable now. He's practiced, I think, the last
days, listen,
but...
and remember, he was questionable last season. Wound up missing 6 games and wound up getting cut off the roster and things of that nature. So,
so for me, it depends on that. But without him, I'm going to disagree because until I see Dallas fall back a little bit, they've been playing really great the past couple games, and they're getting it together on both sides of the ball. I feel like we're going to get a win with Washington. It's just going to come down to that Dallas game and how they can play against them with Scott and Gainwell and how they use them. Because, of course, Gainwell is more of a pass-catching back right now. Then I've been really impressed with how Boston Scott has transitioned from just a pass-catching back to like a more – he's able to go downfield, hit guys, get bruised up, and then still gain yards. So, like, even with them, I feel like they could do a good job. But it's going to come down to the passing game to me with Dallas. And I feel like right now I'm more confident that Dallas will win that game unless they have nothing to play for.
All right, Marcus, what do you feel on the poll question? Even with Miles and Jordan, you like the rotation with Gainwell, with Boston Scott, and obviously you're going to sprinkle a little Jalen in there as well. Well, you think they we should still be able to run the table the last 2 games?
I think we'll be able to handle Washington tomorrow. Boston Scott can run the ball. He's a good at his size. He's a good tackle-to-tackle runner. He's got enough quickness to get it outside, but he doesn't have that breakaway speed. But that's okay. We don't need for that. All we need is if we can get 3 to 5 yards of pop, we're good. So Gainwell, I know he's been itching to play, so we'll see what he can do and when he gets his opportunity, what he can do. So I don't have a problem with who we've got in there now. I think Jordan Howard, like you said, that's an if. They might be running, a fake screen on whether or not he's going to play or not. They do that all the time. So we'll see what's going to happen. But I think with those 3, I think we'll be fine. So I don't have any problem with it as long as they stick to the program. We've got the type of offensive line where regardless of who we got running the ball, as long as they stick with the program, run on that left side of the offensive line, pound the ball a little bit, they'll open up the passing lanes for Jalen. Jalen showed that he can do that. But his max, if he throws over 25 times a game, that's when we have problems. Keep him 25 and under, And I
Yeah,
think
it's something like what me and Daniel were talking earlier when Sirianni and crew had them, had him throwing like almost 20 times in the first half. It was I was like, this is, I'm not sitting there saying you shouldn't, but this team is already showing you identity. It's run first, run the ball first. When we're passing on first and second down, that first half, I'm sitting there like I think most fans felt like smacking themselves over the head with the wrappings of Christmas presents and things of that nature until they came out the second half and became, they were wearing on that team and started getting ready to put them away.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have any problem with it. I think we'll be fine as long as the game plan is sound. As long as Gannon keeps doing what he's been doing, we should not have any problem. However, we shouldn't have had any problem with the Giants, and you see what happened. I think just looking at stuff on social media and stuff like that, people just like get real dismissive, and I hate that. Especially like being a former player, that's the one thing we talk about. You take care of the game you got this week. Period. Don't worry about the week after. You can't. We are not good enough to pass up any team, and even if you are good enough, that's where that saying comes from. Any given Sunday, on any given Sunday, any team can be beat. So you got to be on your P's and Q's. We got to be blocking. We got to be tackling. We got to catch the ball. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. And we were pretty hard on Jalen Reagor for some of his drops, but Dallas Cowboys had a couple big ones over the last few weeks. I mean, obviously we were able to overcome them in all those instances, but he's been one, where he's starting to peer upfield, trying to see what's ahead of him instead of taking care of one first and then getting on the other. I mean, it's one of those frustrating things. Hopefully it doesn't become a habit for Dallas, but because he's been a strong point of this offense down the stretch, getting these guys this team where they are. I mean, obviously, Mark, is our first conversation that we had when you had on this network, where it was way different than the tone of the conversation that we're having right now. Obviously, you know what I mean. I think a lot of people are starting to see say, hey, like let's give Jalen another year. We're gonna see what happens. We get Zach back on here next week if we can get his heart turned cold a little bit around. Obviously, we still like what we're seeing with the improvement and things of that nature. He has to get out of some of these bad habits he's starting to get himself into in the first half of these games. But I don't think that's 100% on him. At least the last few weeks it hasn't been. I
don't think it's. Again, I think, and we talked about this the first time we spoke. You have to have realistic expectations for Jalen Hurts, and if you have realistic expectations, he is surpassing them because you put him in the same category as all of the first and second year quarterbacks. He's at the top of the list. Now, if you want to compare him to Justin Herbert and stuff like that, you can do that. But how many times are you going to find a Justin Herbert? How many times are you going to find a Joe Burrow? You look at all of the quarterbacks that have been drafted.
What about
how many times do you have a Burrow?
John's comment here, like we're gonna see what happens in this offense, what Hurts can do. Heavy run game. Boston will end up being predictable in his opinion. He feels that Jalen Hurts' legs and being able to sling it a little bit is gonna have to make the difference over these next two games. I guess John's answer to our poll question. What do you feel about that? Do you think it as much as we like Boston and the other guys, that it might have to fall a little bit more on Jalen these next few weeks to get us there until either Jordan Howard is 100% and if or when we get Miles back this season?
It depends on what they do. It depends on what kind of offense Sirianni calls in the game. If we focus on Dallas Goedert, make Dallas the 1 and DeVonta Smith the 2, not meaning like where they're going to be in the lineup, but I'm talking about Dallas should get the bulk of the targets. That's going to open up DeVonta Smith because they can't focus in on both of them. They got to make a choice. So I'll take Dallas against those linebackers than I would DeVonta Smith against those DBs, because when you're looking at DeVonta Smith, that's going to be a little bit more on what Jalen sees. Dallas Goedert can flow through the middle, create some mismatches with those linebackers that put us in the advantage. But we've got to be able to take advantage of that. We did it once before, so I know it can happen. So, but it all depends on what kind of game plan that Sirianni calls.
Yeah, me and you had some conversations about that too. But don't want to linger too much on that. You know, we dissected that enough. We dissected last week's game enough. Obviously, you know, took care of business last week with the Giants. Now we gotta step it up this week again. We're watching those Redskins again. We're gonna travel down there to Landover to see what we can do down there. You know, what are your guys' feelings on that? What are your guys' thoughts on that? I guess we'll start with Daniel this time, and then we'll flip it up to Marcus after.
This should be a easy win, in my opinion. I'm not going to say very easy, where they should just march in, win, and then come out.
It's like where you saying it's like what we're always saying. What a lot of us say, it's a game you should take care of business.
Because they just came out today. They got Antonio Gibson out. They got Cosme out. They got Flowers out. They even got a guy that I think is important to Washington, Trey Ways. He's out with the punting game, so they're going to have to bring in a new punter to come in and punt for them. So that could be big for us.
Hopefully, we'll see Jalen Rager take advantage of another situation this week. He was able to kind of get the monkey off his back last week. Got a big return, right? Hopefully with you know, a new punter. You know, sometimes it goes the other way. We've seen it here in Philadelphia. You lose a punter, next thing you know, have to pick up some guy and like, oh wait, you know, where'd this guy come from?
So I feel like they should have. I feel like they should have good field position with that, and they got to take advantage of that. And I feel like even with Sanders and Howard out, they got a lot of their guys offensively back, and with how the defense has been playing, to me, lights out the past couple of games. They should be able to win handily with this by 1 to 2 touchdowns, just running the ball. I feel like they can do that because Washington has a lot of guys out, whether it's injury or COVID. I feel like if we lose this game, that'll be a bad look because of how Washington has just looked dreadful the past month.
Yeah, they also been having a little infighting, fighting things on the sideline. Sometimes that also helps brings teams together. Sometimes, Marcus, what do you feeling with this? You feeling a 2 touchdown game like Daniel thinks? So you think it could be a little bit closer than that? Maybe a 1-score game where it's a little bit closer. Obviously, being in their house, etc.
No, I think if we have a good game plan, if we have a solid game plan on defense, I believe we can be up by 3 touchdowns. I believe we could go like 28-7 or 28-10, something like that. But it all depends.
So you looking to beat up on this team, huh?
I am, because I think we have the talent to do. We know we have the talent to do it, and now I know that Sirianni and Gannon have called game plans that would make me think that. However, it all depends on what they do. I know Sirianni can do it, but I also know that he can get caught in that pass happy feeling and want to come out passing, and then we get behind the 8 ball and got to catch up and come from behind. I don't want to have to do that. Go with what works. Stick with it. You can still throw the ball 25, and I'll even say 25 to 30 times and still dominate on the run game. You can do both, but we have to establish the run game first. Gannon, I just think, do what you've been doing. Yes, I would like to see a little bit more blitzing or just some twists or some disguised coverages to shake Heinicke up. Heinicke is not a flash in the pan. That's a good quarterback. And I think Washington has something there. So you got to put some pressure on him and make him think and do some things and take him out of his comfort zone. So if they do those things and we get to the quarterback, but it's not like I'm saying anything like prophetic. That's the game plan you want in any game, whoever you're playing. So as long as we get to the quarterback and disrupt him and get him out of his comfort zone, and as long as we pound the ball first, we'll be fine. It's not complicated.
I think the emphasis on that last part, run. This team has an identity with the run. It's that time of the year. Run the ball. pass when you get them on their heels and they think they know what you're doing. They think you become predictable. That's when you kind of change things up with them and do some of that stuff. Hitting it with those down the field shots, etc. It's just one of those things. I think that. We need to become. Yes, we need to stay with our identity, but we still have to do those things that keeps everyone, keeps the teams guessing. So we do have an identity in the playoffs. We can sustain a potential run. We got to see how that goes. But we got our first first sponsored members comment of the night, and that comment is brought to you by Gleason's Bar and Grill, and that's located at 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown, PA. Use that promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, eat out. Gleason Bar and Steaks.com. And obviously that question is for our good friend Bill Middlebrook. He said we need to pray for Howard's healthy. Sanders is out is a blessing in disguise. Can't block, drops everything. Changes too much. Howard is one of the best pass rusher blockers in the NFL. We need that. Obviously, Mr. Middlebrook has an affinity for our backup. But we've had a conversation about that around here. Listen, Miles is out. I don't know if it's a blessing in disguise. I think you still need Miles Sanders in this offense. I think he's proven that over the last few weeks. Yes, he gets banged up. Yes, he's not the greatest pass blocker. This is why you have other guys on the rosters, other packages do other things. You're better with Miles Sanders around.
Absolutely.
Respect your opinion, Bill, but he also likes to ruffle feathers around here. Love your bro.
Man, Howard is a brick. I always say that. I always thought the way that Miles was playing, Howard should have been starting. Howard should have been slamming up the middle. I always think of it like boxing. Howard is that jab. You keep hitting him with that jab, and then you put Sanders in, and Sanders is that left hook to the chin, because Sanders always has that big break ability, or he's got a 20 or 30 yarder just waiting at him. We've got to be able to use that, soften them up with Howard, and then release Miles Sanders on them. But we don't have Miles, so Gainwell has the speed to do that now. But it all depends on how they want to use them. So we'll see what happens.
G? What's up, Big G?
What's up?
Big G's in the house. Appreciate the love, Greg. Now, I do want to get your guys' thoughts on a couple things. Obviously, the NFL's been hit hard this past week since we last were on the air. We lost the literal voice of the NFL in my opinion over the last 20 to 30 years. Coach John Madden passed away, and then for people who may not have been tuned in on social media this morning, from partying last night, we also lost former Denver Bronco Giant head coach Dan Reeves as well. Oh man! So I guess we gotta talk about these guys' impact on this on this sport, man. I mean, obviously John Madden's bigger than life. The Madden bus. He's been in movies, video games, the depictions. He changed football in a lot of ways. He made football fun in a lot of ways that made football relatable for a lot of fans. For people who may not necessarily have been fans before, he made it be able to be fun and educated. He kind of, and he wasn't even really like one of those announcer type guys. He was lucky enough where it came to him, and he was able to kind of do other things with it. And let's not forget he was a Super Bowl winning head coach before that. Let's not forget, he also for a period of time played for our Eagles too. So definitely got to give some love to John Madden. I guess Marcus, I want to get your thoughts first, and then we'll go to Chris on this one. John Madden's impact, and then also Marcus, if you want to touch on Dan Reeves as well too.
Like Madden was like you guys. I went to college in the 90s, so in I guess 91, maybe 91 was when Madden came out on like Sega Genesis. So if you were in school at that time, that was crazy. We spent I'll say this: John Madden probably flunked a whole lot of people out of college because instead of going to class, they were playing Madden. But a funny thing about Madden was when he agreed to let them put his name on the video game, he made sure that they were only going to do 11-on-11 football because that was the first game to do that. He was like, you got to make it play like real football. If you're not going to do that, you can't use my name. And that's when EA Sports came up with that 11-on-11 because you remember before then everything was Tecmo Bowl and all of that kind of stuff. That was all like 7-on-7. I think Tecmo Bowl may have been 9, and that was a big deal. But
man,
to have 11-on-11 football, that changed the game.
Tecmo Super Bowl, man. You're just throwing them bombs with Randall and Freddie Barnett.
There you go, and running with Bo Jackson over everybody.
Oh man, there you go.
Madden had more like a pop culture impact because like when I was a kid, Madden had just started doing the commercials because he still had the drawn on the, the beer commercials where he would bust out the back of the chalkboard and start drawing up plays and boom and bam and do all of that kind of stuff. So he had just went into the pop culture stuff. Yeah. But when his video game dropped, that was a wrap. Everybody was trying to play football. Even if you didn't like football, everybody played Madden. So this pop culture reference took the NFL
Dan, you're
to
right.
another level.
Dan's comment right here. Somebody just turned 35, learning the soundtrack of football growing up for me. I mean, that's why I said he's the voice of football. You go to even look at, when you have movies, a lot of them, made sure they did whatever they could to get John Madden and Pat Summer on it. It was just a thing. They were the voice of what football was.
Someone who just turned 35, baby. Stop playing with me. 35.
It's just the brand. I think of Madden. I just think of it as a brand, not just like him. I think of it as a brand because if you think of him, you got the game, you got the endorsements, everything that he did. But then he's also the first guy that really focused on the line when he did all the commentary. It was always about the dynamic, like wide receivers, running back, quarterback. But he's the first guy to point out offensive linemen and then show how they work things and how they made the playbook open up because they can make life easier for the offense. And he was the first guy to do that. And I think that changed the game with the commentary.
I think what the big thing was when he was able to get kind of give these game guys like an old playbook and kind of really get into things like that. That was kind of the big thing that made what made Madden different and special from like all these other games. They had other games that were fun. Remember like NFL Blitz and Street. Like they had other games that were fun, but it just wasn't Madden. When John Madden and they teamed up with EA Sports and got the NFL copyrights, that's when it really kind of took off and went to another level. But I don't want to leave Dan Reeves out of this too, because him passing today is a big one too. He may not have been as big as John Madden, but that's a Hall of Fame, another Hall of Fame head coach in my opinion. Don't you agree, Marcus?
Absolutely. Dan Reeves was one of those type of coaches that had the reverence of like Landry and Dallas. He was like really not stuffy suit and tie, but he was one of those coaches where when you thought of him, he always you always thought of him with a high measure of respect. Yeah. He was a classy coach, a fiery coach, but he got the most out of his players. So he was that rare breed and that, I guess, throwback era type coach that we really don't see a lot of anymore. Everybody's on the young thing now. So coaches like Dan Reeves are kind of, you don't see too many like that anymore.
Yeah, you really don't. They kind of break the mold when they make some of these guys. Sometimes you see them once, and they're just a special people. You don't really see when the time changed. Sometimes I don't think it would. We're not past the time seeing a coach on the sideline. In the suit and tie and a hat, or going back. I don't think things that become old once become new again. I wouldn't be surprised that 10, 15 years we'll see it come back. You never know. I'm sure we're trying to be a fun league right now. You see when you see guys like Sirianni, grabbing grabbing like local guys' t-shirts and wearing them to the press conference. stuff like that, trying to be fun and relatable to this youth. You don't want to blame these guys for that, because they want to make sure they keep their job at the end of the day, they had these bad seasons. All of us here were rough on Nick early in the year. Now, obviously the year's over. I want to get your thoughts. Obviously, he still has got 2 games to go at this point in time. First year head coach with coming into a 4-win team. This team was an absolute shambles coming into the offseason. We were paying X amount of money in dead cap space, but you look at it now. Obviously you're going to be at least around a 500 football team regardless of what happens these last 2 games. Obviously you're starting to find an identity with this team. You have a good, strong, young, healthy offensive line. It looks like your defense is starting to come through. You would like your front 4 to kind of get to the quarterback a little bit more. We've already talked about the defense, the linebackers. Hopefully some of them 3 first-round picks next year we'll get one of these linebackers. Hopefully we get somewhere Guy falls or something. The Eagles can kind of make a move. I would love for them to get a linebacker in the first round. Marcus, what's kind of your end of the year outlook on what Nick Sirianni's done with this team in a year?
Even though he wouldn't win it, I think he would at least be a candidate for Coach of the Year.
I mean, he should, right? That's a big turnaround, right? You're already at a 4+ win turnaround at this point in time. I think that has to say something. Regardless of, like I said, how tough we were on a lot of us, in the media, etc. Fans, etc. We're tough on this guy. He should, get votes, at least in my opinion. Winning or not,
he would get some. But just the fact that he's in that conversation is comforting enough, knowing how it started. Because when the first 7 games of the year, we were like, this dude ain't gonna make it. Because both him and Gannon was like, are these dudes gonna be one and done? It was that bad. But it
was rough the middle of October, etc.
Yeah, it was very rough. Because he was doing stuff that was like, dude, why are you doing that? You got to have some type of acumen to be able to call those plays, and what you're calling doesn't make sense. So, but he flipped it around. He did what he had to do, and now you're seeing the results of it. So, he would definitely be in that conversation, and deservedly so. Gannon finally flipped it around, because for a while I was thinking he might be a one and done, but he got it together, and now we've got everything trending in the right direction. I know that was buzzword for a while around here. Everything's trending in the right direction.
Trending upwards. We're trending upwards.
But I think they got it turned around, and with some draft picks, and depending on how he's going to do in the offseason, we look good next year. We look a lot better than we did at the beginning of the year.
I think a lot of it. We were talking like should they try to tank and things of that nature, and even you even got to look at even far as the Miami Dolphins. Like we were talking about, we're probably gonna have a lot, top 5 pick. Oh, this is gonna be great. And now that they've gone off and won like 7 straight games and things of that nature, they're on the playoff door as well. What was that, Chris?
No, I said after losing 7 straight, they won the first game, lost 7, and now they've won 7, which is just crazy.
That's the way it works. Any given Sunday.
The ebb and flows of the NFL.
But I think one of the biggest things.
What are your thoughts on the Sirianni report for this year? What are you feeling?
I think one of the biggest things that he changed was the fact that they were throwing the ball heavy the first half of the season, and then I don't know if it's something somebody said or like he just woke up, he switched it, then went run heavy. He was like, I guess he realized that, hey, I got a guy that needs to work on his passing. Let me go hide some of his negatives and focus on what he can do great. And he's a great runner. He can look at reads here and there and make a good throw, but the running game's the focus of this team right now. You got that offensive line that is clicking on all cylinders right now, even with a couple guys out. I've been a high guy on Landon Dickerson since drafting him because he's a young guy put in there. he rarely practiced at all in training camp, and then he threw him in there the third or fourth game, and he had to know, like, give him time because this is basically his training camp, and he's developed nicely for having not that much time on the practice field until then. And you've just been able to run the ball, use the play action every now and then with the Hurts to get a one read, and then he runs. You got to know with Hurts, it's going to take time. I kind of think of Lamar Jackson with them, how they kind of dumbed down the playbook his rookie year. And then the second year, they opened up a little bit. I think that's something that they have to consider with them. Like, hey, just open things up as he learns the game more at quarterback. And then you're giving him weapons. And then just like you said, you got 3 picks. You're going to get the Carson Wentz contract off the books after the season.
Well, you're going to get a bunch of contracts off the books, you know. I think Alshon Jeffrey's come off. There's a bunch of guys that come off. I think dude, I think the crazy part, I think next year is like you have your 3 first. But I think you also probably be like one of the top teams as far as like free agency money available. So like maybe you could find like one of those veteran receivers to kind of throw in that mix with with Jalen Reagor and Watkins and them guys and really make them really fun on the outside. Maybe find another outside linebacker too. I know a lot of people like Alex Singleton, but I still feel like traditionally you probably want somebody a little bit bigger and somebody that does a little bit better in those pass rush in the passing situations, not just going after the quarterback and causing pressure.
I think with how the linebacker core has been, and they're not a strength of the team, but I felt like for what they can do right now, I feel like they've done a pretty decent job because those 2 guys aren't going to be great, but they're quick and they can make tackles. And for the defense they have right now, that's an adequate job. I would like to see him upgrade there, but I still think like compared to the past couple of years, this duo has done a good job. Him and Edwards. They've done a good job with what they need to do. I think one of the best moves they made was moving Max to the slot corner because I feel like it's allowed him to play better defense being there rather than on the outside. You got Nelson and Slay on the outside, and then you got Max.
Stevie Nelson only signed a one-year contract. They haven't kind of looked like they're going to re-up on that. I think he might be one of the odd men out, and you might go find a situation where they find another veteran guy or find somebody in the the second or third round they kind of plug in there with DeVonta and things of that nature, or they still have some guys that they drafted over the last few seasons that they may already like on their roster too, that are making that next step up and develop, etc.
Maybe see if the guy from I forget his name from Texas Tech that they drafted, see if he can pick his game up because they had high hopes on him, and then he didn't look that great coming out of training camp. Maybe he steps his game up and can move up to that spot. But
see, Dan, I think they are going to get their feet. Like I think they'll at least get in the playoffs at this time. I didn't think this was a playoff team moving into the season. I thought they were just outside of it, like 7-8 wins. I thought they would improve this year just because of how the back end of the schedule worked out. But I agree. If you get something going here with Jalen and get him some confidence with this offense and what everyone on the same page with what this identity of this team is moving forward, you could have something special to build here moving forward. And like since we're all on the subject, of things moving forward, what are we going to be doing about this Pro Bowl, man? Moving forward, man, we've had a major list of snubs, not just here in Philadelphia, but you look around, like there's you got to question some of this stuff. I mean, obviously, when you look at the list, I absolutely hats off to Kelsey and Darius Slay for they're going to be starting members of the Pro Bowl at definitely deserve it. I feel that there's several more names missing from that list here in Philadelphia. Lane Johnson is actually absolutely at the top of that with right behind him being Jordan Mailata. I feel for some reason that the fans should have absolutely no voting involved when it comes to offensive linemen anymore. They don't know what they're doing. They're just looking for names and things of that nature that they recognize. It's a problem. It's a problem because you go and look at like who's the top 5 ranked offensive tackles in football, and then you look, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata. Okay, here we go. There's the top 3. So
there's no way you can get around that, because it's, at the end of the day, it is a popularity contest. Period. Pro Bowl is for extra revenue stream for the NFL. The guys really don't. The guys that want to make it to the Pro Bowl, they want to pad their resume and they want to collect that check. That's about it. I agree. Jordan Mailata definitely should have been in there, but outside of Philadelphia, is he a household name like that? Not quite yet.
No,
Lane Johnson, I agree he should have went, but I understand why he didn't, because he missed those 4 games. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. Yes, he should have been there, but when you miss games like that, people are gonna pass you up. So it's all a popularity contest.
But then you go look around, like you still Hargrave didn't get a first or second selection.
Another name,
Elliott didn't get a first.
But outside of Philadelphia, who knows those names?
All right, but then you're gonna have the fans like, all right, well, why Jalen Hurts get in? Well, he got in because he didn't throw a lot of interceptions, and he had more than enough rushing touchdowns to get him in as an alternate. Exactly. So as much as people want to be upset about that fact, that we just have to understand that he had numbers that supplemented him into there.
Correct. So, you also got to remember, they released the stats about that numbers, maybe 2 weeks in advance when he was about to break the rushing record. So now, and what do? They start comparing him with who? Michael Vick. And they start comparing. When you name associate like that, now it's bringing up, and you got to remember, they were talking about Jalen Hurts on ESPN, the morning shows, all of that kind of stuff. So he was getting the publicity whether you liked him or not. His name was out there. Lane Johnson, his name was out there for other reasons. Jordan Mailata, that started coming on a little bit late. But again, outside of Philadelphia, unless you are a diehard fan, and of course diehard fans aren't the one that's doing all the voting, they're not going to know who you're talking about. So popularity contest.
Don't disagree. And I know Daniel's got a snub of his own. I know he's not happy that the tight end situation with Pitts getting the nod over Goddard. I still think some of these recent drops kind of hurt that too, and also, he's the kind of the bright spot on a team like Atlanta. So everyone in Atlanta is gonna be stuffing the ballot for him. So you kind of expect those situations to happen.
Yeah, it's just hard for me.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's just hard for me to even though he's been great as a rookie, it's just hard for me to know that a guy with only 1 touchdown is gonna make it as a starter over guys like Goddard, Gronkowski, guys that have multiple touchdowns. And I know there's more weapons on the team, but Kyle Pitts is the weapon on the team. So he's getting the looks. And I understand he's going to get double covered and he's made great plays, but he still only has 1 touchdown on the season. It's just hard for me to fathom a guy with just 1 touchdown is going to make it as a starter.
It's all about that name recognition, man.
Yeah.
Did Ertz make it?
It was Pitts and Kelsey. Yeah, and then Kelsey, of course. I believe.
George Kittle.
I mean that's on the other side.
Kittle.
George Kittle and Kyle Pitts. Yeah.
Yes.
So because I was the reason why Goddard didn't get in there is because he didn't start playing until after they got rid of Ertz.
Yeah. Which kind of hurts him. Imagine if he would have been the starter earlier in the season, because he still has 800 yards, 4 touchdowns. So I think almost 900 yards and 1 touchdown for Pitts. But Pitts has been the guy, even with Hurts there, he's been the guy early on. They were with the injuries to their wide receivers there, and then Ridley just taking time off. They've been able to use those two tight ends heavily without having to worry about both of them complaining because they're still getting a lot of looks on both sides. Both of them did good in the game against Detroit on Sunday. But I feel like, just like you said, I feel like maybe it's the name notoriety being on Atlanta. That's the one guy that they can clamor to and be like, we want this guy to make it because we know he has a good shot at making it. So we're going to just do everything we can to get him in there. And then I feel like another guy that got snubbed was Matthew Stafford. It doesn't help that he had 3 interceptions in the last game that he just played, but I felt like he should have made it. You got a guy like Lamar Jackson who's missed a couple games on that side, but then you got Murray. Murray missed almost a month, and he made it as a starter. I felt like you should have had Stafford in there, and then I felt like you should have had Josh Allen in over Lamar Jackson on the AFC side.
Dude, you're not wrong, but the NFL is going to try to spread it around because if they spread it around, you get more merch revenue and all of that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it's all a money play. So it's like whatever. If our guys make it, that's great. And that's a star in our hat because you can say we had 3 Pro Bowlers. We had Jalen Hurts made the Pro Bowl. Rightfully so, I might add. But there's always going to be somebody that's pissed off because they didn't make it. No way to get around it. Point, period, end of paragraph. Nothing you can do.
And we definitely got to give props to Darius Slay in his press conference this week. Going right after the NFL Hall of Fame with showing his love to Avante Samuel. Man, yeah, you know. On top of Samuel, we're talking Philadelphia cornerbacks who probably should be in the Hall of Fame. You should also put Eric Allen on that list too.
Oh, dude, that was my teammate, dude.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, I 200% agree with Darius that Asante should be in there. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely circle back and say yes, but I'm gonna also push a little bit more for EA, man.
Listen, I was on the team when he go back and look on YouTube and look at that interception versus the Jets in '93. That's the game that Randall tore his knee, and he intercepted the ball, ran it back. Had to be like. It was something like an 85 or 90 yard,
like 91 yards or something like that.
Pick 6, but he ran about 340, zigzagging side to side. And as he scored the touchdown, Randall was coming out of the tunnel on crutches and gave him the ball. Dude, it was crazy. When on that Monday when we went back to when we had to report to the vet, dude, everybody just like mobbed him, wanted to hug him and all that kind of stuff. Man, that was just.
Man, Sam, that was a good question. I definitely wanted Asante's kid here, but that's not. Listen, when we're talking about it, we can pan our heads when it comes to some of this draft stuff, especially on here. There's so many ones like going into that first round. I was a big Micah Parsons guy. I'm like, give me that linebacker. But you go look at what DeVonta Smith's done this week with his his foot tapping skills the past few weeks. He's been putting on a clinic, man. We were just talking about Coach of the Year votes going to Sirianni. He should definitely get some for Rookie of the Year with the play he's been having on this team on a run first team. As they've been having their success down the stretch. I believe he's only 92 yards away from Deshaun Jackson's rookie team record for the Eagles. He's going to beat that. Yeah. I think he's going to set the Eagles. I think he's going to get at least 2 out of the 3. I think he'll get the receptions and the yards. I don't know if he'll get the touchdowns or if he has it yet.
And he's a completely different player than Deshaun Jackson because he's the type of guy. He makes all the routes look good. We haven't had a guy like that in a freaking long time, I feel like. And then just those toe tap catches that he makes every game along the sideline where you're like, oh, I don't think that's a catch. And then you look at the replay and you're like, damn, he made that catch Bailey with the tiptoe of his feet. He
Toe
does
drag
that.
swag.
Yeah, he does that. That's something that we need. Even if he only has like 3 catches for 30 yards.
Colin, we've had some good picks through the drafts, and everyone's been hard on Howie on some things. So we've been going back and forth with some of this. I know, Marcus, we're taking you a little bit past where we were. I know we still want to get some Sixer talk, but I'm gonna let you go into the rest of your evening, Marcus. Me and Daniel can hold down the fort for the rest of the time. We're getting ready to switch gears as it was. But before I let you go, I want to give you the microphone for a second. Let the people know what's going on with this next week.
Next week, we'll be starting the show on 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in 2022. It's here already, man. Let's do some work. I'm excited to be here. Let's have some fun, man. We're going to talk some football. Hopefully we can learn some things. I can teach you some things. I can learn some things from you. Let's get it. Ready break, man.
Oh, man. I can't wait. Next week, I'm definitely going to be gonna be around showing you some love, helping you out there. So if you need me, you know where to find me. Enjoy the rest of your evening, my friend, and we'll be in touch. Catch you around.
Got it, fellas. Steve, Cage, man.
Right,
I will be seeing you. Peace.
All right, that was Marcus Thomas. Appreciate him for hopping on the talked a little bit longer with some of the Eagles talk that we wanted to with him. Obviously the fam in the chat always keeping it fun, keeping it loose in here. But yeah, absolutely, Samuel. Absolutely. DeVonta's been killing it with that toe drag swag, and I think he's been definitely should be getting some of those rookie votes. But
just imagine what happens when he starts to grow even more as the years go on. You see this now. Just imagine when he's going to be next year and the year after, as long as the offense grows and moves up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens over the next few years. Like I said, he already has that rapport with Jalen, so I think that's kind of another important connection. Like I said, if you get another veteran receiver in here, it doesn't even have to be someone a big superstar name. You can pull in like what we did in 17 where we went in and free agency and got ourselves Alshon Jeffrey. He was just that other piece
Smith
when
as
you're
well,
yeah. So like when you go and do some simple things like that and can make this offense just a little bit more explosive. Give the defense a little bit more something to think about and shore up. Your holes on offense like that. They're gonna be in a special spot. They're gonna be in a real special spot in my opinion.
Just imagine this year, some of these teams that were drafting compliments to guys that have familiar rapport with each other.
But why would we want to imagine the numbers of Rod? Like Aaron Rodgers is not going to come here. I guarantee it. He's probably going to probably wind up in Las Vegas. I guarantee.
I think he's going to stay in Green Bay because he would be dumb.
He's going to stay in Green Bay.
He would be dumb to leave because he did that whole thing.
I think he kind of feels like he wants. He's done. He's done his time there. He leaves after he breaks Brett's record, and you got people remember wasn't he the California kid before he came out there? I kind of feel the Vegas thing. It would be my guess if he left. I don't think he would come here. I don't think the front office is has their mind set on either drafting or trading or in free agency going after a quarterback number one. I think in the offseason you're going to see them go move Gardner Minshew to a place where he could probably go, and they'll go and get another backup. But I don't think you're gonna find them in one of these races for a QB1, so to speak. I think they're gonna ride out with Jalen next year. I think they're gonna roll and see what they got and go in the draft and try to fill some holes and make this team a more solidified. And I
don't know why that's
a 9. I see. You know what? I might say that, but I don't. I think the 49ers, they already made their draft pick and I don't know who they're gonna go with. Unless unless they include Trey Lance into that. On the switch, you do a swap and do some things of that nature. But I don't know.
I don't know why it's a bad idea to stick with Hurts. He's a Pro Bowl alternate this year.
I don't disagree. We need an edge rush because you need to replace Brandon Graham because that ACL injury at that age at that position almost spells the end for him and what makes him special leading up to that. We have to see if he bounces back. Obviously every man's different. Everyone recovers differently, rebounds differently. We'll see, but a lot of fun is going to be happening with this team moving forward. But
yeah, definitely. And then we got the situation with Cox. When do we decide to move on from him in that contract? Because he really hasn't been the same player at the past couple of years that he was at the height of his dominance. He's a lot older now, and he's starting to go on the downward spiral of his career. Do we try to get rid of him now, or do we hold on to him because of that contract?
I say like you have both, Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts under some of your rookie contract. Miles, like you have to weigh your option on that. I think that 5th year option or whatever, you have him under contract for another year. Absolutely not Samuel. We're not in on Deshaun Watson. Like I said, I think everyone's in the opinion like that you're giving up too much to try to get in the sweepstakes for some of these guys. I want to keep my picks, like Colin was sitting there saying here. I want to keep my picks. I want to use our picks.
You're basically getting rid of the picks. Just him that you got from Wentz.
Remember, you're still dealing with Harry Roseman at this point. It's like you just got to give him as many darts as you can. Obviously we've gotten some gems in some of the later rounds, and with the Jordan Mailatas of the world and things of that nature. You got guys that can contribute in some of those later rounds. I get it, but I don't. At this point in time, I don't want to trade. I just want to see what you can have with this. As much as I've been hard on Jalen, as much as I don't think he is the guy because he doesn't have the big arm. But we've all said during that time that he does have other special qualities that make him special when the offense is built around him. If this offensive line will be healthy and what they're building, what they have with Mulata and Dickerson, and what you already had, what you see with Nate Herberg and things of that nature, and I think Nate will probably be the heir apparent at center when Jason Kelce does retire. You still have Brandon Brooks there too. You still have Andre Dillard there too. You have capital there at offensive line. You're strong up front. With what you have with Jalen Hurts, can win you more than 8 games a season, can get you in the playoffs. What all you have to really get out of him is 3 to 5 big plays a game with his arm. I think he's shown you that, especially with that big play at the end of the game. That big throw with Ward at the end of the game that really kind of sealed it away. Where Ward hadn't really run his route, but he was under pressure and throws it to an area where it was supposed to be. As soon as he turns around and threw him open. He wasn't open yet, but had the trust in his guy to be able to do that. Yes, that is showing like the big improvement. It's showing that he can do these type of things. It's something we hadn't seen before. He is showing that he can make some of these throws that we've been critical on. You would still like him to kind of have those bigger arms, but sometimes you don't really have to really have I could throw it freaking end zone to end zone arm guys all the time.
You got to be patient. You got to be patient with them because essentially this is just year 1 with them. He only started 3 games last year as a rookie. This is his first full season as a starter. You just treat him as a rookie this year. He's going to grow. I feel like if you go, oh, let's go for Watson, you're going to go backwards because you're giving up 3 picks that you just got basically for Wentz just to go get a guy. I
agree with age. And Dallas defensively is set up to stop the run. They are. Yes. They have playmakers to do things in but I still think with your way your offensive line is developing, I think the way that you run things, you can negate some of those things we're going to have to see what happens. Obviously, that's a big game coming up next week with Dallas, obviously.
But remember, I think moving forward, this is the year for Dallas to kind of win it because their money situation isn't as good. A lot of their money's pertain to the offense, and they're kind of losing guys. Yeah, they're kind of losing guys on defense because they're going to have to start resign guys, and they're not going to be able to. And then you got Dak Prescott's contract, which each year is going to go up. It was a lot friendly this year, and I think it's a little bit friendly next year, but as the seasons go on, it's not going to be as friendly. They're going to have to fork over more money for him. And
William brings up a point. He wants to know where do we feel that Russell will wind up next year? You know, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Giants, Washington football team. His guarantee is those four teams. Wife convinced him last year that that they have a home. I think it's going to be New York. I think it's going to be.
I was thinking that, but then if they're true to their word, where they said that we're bringing back Joe Judge, and then he came out and said Daniel Jones is still the starter. But if they go back on it,
he's the starter.
Yeah. If they go back on that, I could see that happening because the market, it fits Russell Wilson, it fits his wife, of course. But then a dark horse
with the Saints, so he's gonna run. He's gonna run Winston out of there too. We'll see.
No, I feel like a dark horse would be Pittsburgh. No Big Ben.
I think William mentioned Pittsburgh was his first team.
I think that could be a big situation, especially with the weapons that he has there. You got wide receivers. You got 3 good wide receivers there. You could probably keep Claypool in check. You got a Najee Harris there. The only thing that would keep him away is the fact that the offensive line, they haven't been playing too bad because you got to remember Big Ben has kind of created some of that mess because he's old and can't run anymore.
All right. Real quick,
I feel
let's switch gears here. Yeah. Looks like our guest is in the back, so real quick, want to give him some love here. Welcome our guest, and obviously, this segment of the show is brought to you by FanUp. It is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code HED for 1,500 points bonus plus a $50 value at the FanUp app. Check it out. And this interview, Mr. Rynell Riley is in the house. Appreciate your time this afternoon, this evening, my friend. How you feeling, man? How was New Year's?
I feel good, man. It's been a great New Year. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. You know, it's appreciate the time, man. First time here on AA today. Want to give the family a real quick intro into you. I guess let them know who you are, where you come from. How did you get it, and what got you on this journey into bare knuckle boxing, into combat sports? It seems to be the a lot of athletes nowadays are kind of making that jump. So I guess let the fam know what started getting your attention to it.
I always liked it. I'm from Florida, so I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and growing up in Florida, the backyard brawl has always been a thing. So you get to see the brawls and stuff on YouTube. Growing up as a teenager, seeing like the Kimbo Slice fights and the backyard things. It always had my interest. But as far as being competitive, I started boxing competitively when I was 16. So from that point, that's when I really started the journey in terms of competitive, combat. I started in boxing, amateur boxing.
Hey man, but so obviously you've now decided to kind of drop the gloves because obviously you've been there, Kimbo Slice, obviously Jorge Masvidal's kind of taking it to another level. Being one of those guys was being on that early scene with Kimbo's kind of interesting as he's getting game bred. I know obviously you're with BKFC. What do you think about him too? Obviously he's being the Miami guy, being an entrepreneur, getting his promotion going. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, man, he's a legend, man. Can't take nothing away from him. Nothing away. He's a legend. He's doing his thing with Game Bread. I think we got some guys that under Smith Brothers that are looking into going into Game Bread. So, that's cool, man. But I like the bare
ever gonna
knuckle
do the
MMA.
MMA side of it, or is it you just enjoy the boxing?
Nah, man, I'm sticking with the BKFC, man.
Just
Nah,
asking, man.
the kicks ain't my thing.
Looking you up, man. You got like that action figure kind of build. So I wouldn't be surprised if eventually you never know. Like I'm sitting there as soon as I told Daniel who we got, we're like, damn, that dude's jacked, bro. What's up?
Nah, man, no MMA for me, man. I thought about it at one time, but I'm not into the kicks and the throwing and all that stuff, man.
That's all right, man. We seen how crazy it is. Here in Philly, not I think it wasn't last night. The night before, they had Fury Grappling. They had Carla Esparza going against like one of our local black belts. The grappling match had to be stopped because Carla went and slammed her, and they slammed heads, split her head open, things of that nature. So the thing that sucks is I wonder how that affects things because she was supposed to be the next title challenger for Rose Namajunas. So I want to, and the funny thing is that she stepped in for Rose. Rose had COVID, she was in COVID protocol.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they changed that grappling match. So I wonder if both Rose's potential COVID thing and or Carla's, hematoma, split head, however you want to have that, all affect that matchup. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it is, man. Crazy stuff happens in combat, man.
The funny part is like because you got to think of it when you think of when you're just doing grappling type of things. If it's just stuff you basically go in training, but you're just competing on a little bit higher level, But it's one of those things like a lot of times when you do that, it's funny you wind up getting hurt more in those situations than you probably would in the actual like a live fight or something like that,
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy. Yeah. It gets pretty intense, man. You get, eye pokes and gouges.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you made your BKFC debut December 9th and down there in Tampa. How was that experience for you? Obviously, that being your area, you're able to kind of you don't really have to go too far to travel, things of that nature. And obviously having the successful debut, how was the whole experience and, taking that whole in and the victory?
It was a great experience, man. I actually live in Texas. So,
you said you were from that Miami area. So,
no, yeah. I'm from Jacksonville, but I live in Texas. So I live in Fort Worth, Texas. And I actually flew down to Tampa to train with Smith Brothers. So I was in camp for a while. I actually I left out in October. So October 12th, I believe, is when I got to camp in Tampa, and I was just training initially. And the opportunity came. Kevin said, "Hey man, we got a fight for you." I said, "Okay, let's go." And from that point, it went from me just training to get in shape for bare knuckle to actually preparing for a fight. So there was a lot of things that I had to learn really fast, you know what I mean? Especially going against guys that come from that MMA background or that Muay Thai background. They're really good with the clinching and the different things that you do with grappling. So I had to learn a lot really fast. And, everything came together and I had a good night. I was able to, withstand some of the things, some of the tactics, the dirty boxing, the different tactics that these guys with these MMA backgrounds come from, so I was able to adapt and I came out on top. I feel like it was a good performance. It wasn't the performance that I wanted to have in terms of expressing my different skill sets, but I think I've shown a lot, and I think I'm on a lot of people's radar now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, BKFC has grown a lot, over the past, 5 years or so since, Dave kind of really had this dream, made this dream come to life, has grown you guys so much. Obviously, he's doing some things trying to get it internationally too. seeing some of the things that they've already announced moving forward, is there any potential places you would love to be able to perform in front of fans, either around the country or potentially internationally? You're talking about Thailand and things of that nature moving forward in 2022. Is that something somewhere where you would like to fight? Like what is I talk it to a lot of the athletes. You guys have wound up in these unique situations where sometimes you'd be able to travel internationally just because of fights and things of that nature. So do you have do you have a wish list, man? Like places you'd love to fight?
The Thailand, man. The Thailand opening up in their country, I think was big. And it opens up for opportunity for guys like me that would like to go over there and fight. The Russia, the Russia opening, I thought was good. I wouldn't mind fighting anywhere, man. Anywhere if it means that I'll become the best, the champion, of course, the world champion, the best. Everywhere, man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see a lot of things. I know obviously we were already talking about what they've already announced, but you've already have places here that are just special places. And obviously you're new to the sport, so obviously you're still you let yourself be known now. Obviously, made your debut. Now you have to get back in there. Are you hoping for something early in 2022, like February, March? I know they got Knuckle Mania. They just started announcing the date for that. Is that enough time, or or is it more like March for you before we see you back in there?
We're looking at March, man. February would be pretty awesome. You know what I'm saying? Knuckle Mania is just
that's what I'm saying. They just announced Knuckle Mania. That's what I'm saying.
Massive card.
Now I want to quick throw it over to Daniel. I know I've been have you locked up here for almost 10 minutes now. I want to throw it over to Daniel real quick. Let him get a few questions in there. Daniel, go ahead, brother.
Okay.
Well, first off, I want to congratulate you on the win. But one of the things I noticed in the fight that really caught my eye was your hand speed, and you're very quick with your striking. And then I noticed that you were just thrown within 3 punch combinations. Is that something that you're used to, that it just came second nature to you, or is that something that you worked on a lot to pick up that hand speed? Because of course in boxing you got to be quick with your striking. You don't want to get caught. How was that for you? Did it come up at first nature, or is that something that just you had to work on?
A little bit of both. I'm a power guy, so I didn't want to get stuck in throwing just huge, 1-2 punches. You know what I'm saying? Because having no gloves on, your hands are much lighter. You can let your hands go. So we actually implement a lot of just me throwing a lot of punches, being able to throw those combinations with the speed. So we train for that. We prepare for it. And one of the things my coach was telling me was keep your hands moving. Just keep your hands moving. And, I did that. Every time I would be inside the clinch, if I was in the clinch and he had one hand on the clinch and I had both my hands, I was just letting him go, man. And I was just firing those shots, tearing the body up, tearing the head up.
You think that's probably one of the things you want to kind of get yourself more accustomed to and work a little bit more in this camp is that the clinch in the dirty box, and is that something you're probably looking to, if you have to say one area that you want to work on a little bit more, you probably say that would be it?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of things I got to work on, man. And that's just me. A lot of people say, A+ performance, beautiful performance, awesome. But I always feel like it's a lot I got to work on, As I said, I want to be the best.
I know a lot of you guys, you guys are always your biggest critic, and you guys always want to, at least
Yeah.
for yourself, a great performance. But yeah, you always want to find ways to get better at this or that, or you didn't like how you did with this, and you want to go back and work on that. Like, you guys are a forever moving chessboard, man. It's truly truly amazing what you guys do, both in the cage, out the cage, getting ready for like the stuff that you guys have to go through. All respect, my friend, man. It's a tireless journey. And I think it's one of the things I think if people don't realize that they love to see that aspect of it, to see your guys' story, to see what you go through. You look at what the UFC gets most views on for. It's not the actual fight. Sometimes it's actually the road to stories and things of that nature. That's what people want to see more of. Is that something you hope BKFC does a little bit more, not just with some of the bigger names, but have option for like where they travel with like some of the guys of your nature. So more people get accustomed to see like obviously the UFC is this big machine, but they've done things in a way to kind of help guys come up as they come up to do things. Obviously, they've done it with reality shows and things like that, nature like that over the years.
Right.
Would you like to see them in, at least in a production wise, give you guys more of an option that way? I guess, so to speak.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially for the guys like me that's coming up. Of course, we all got a story, and a lot of times, man, like the guys that don't have the biggest names or the biggest following, we're hungry. You know what I mean? And we got a story. And we're fighting to be the best, and we just need that opportunity and that platform to really just expose us, so we can get to that level of these guys that that are higher up and they got the name and they got the following. Because I mean, a lot of us, we're just as good or better. You know what I mean? And we're coming. And I feel like with guys like me coming from the tryouts, I feel like in a sense it's like a purge. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said on another podcast, we'll wean out who's supposed to be here and who's not, regardless of the name.
Something we talked about with Belcher a few weeks ago, man. It takes a different type of dude. Like, just because you're an MMA fighter or boxer or whatever, it takes a special type of man, woman, etc. to be a bare knuckle fighter, regardless if we're talking boxing, MMA, whatever poison of promotion you prefer to either watch, support, or compete for. It takes a special type of person to be able to do that. It's different. You don't have big old boxing gloves to be able to parry and block and things of that nature. So you're absorbing a lot more things in bare knuckles. So I think that's why a lot more people are excited with it, because it's as close to a real fight that you're ever gonna get. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And a lot of things that's done in those fights, man. A lot of those things we're putting it all together right then and there. It's not everything that we can implement in training. You know what I mean? Some things we just have to learn and experience when we're in there. So it's always learning every fight. And going in, I was thinking like, wow, like there's a lot of things that I learned about myself just from that fight alone. That I didn't even know during training camp or boxing matches. It was just learning while I was in there.
Now, what are your thoughts on some of these upcoming, fight announcements they just make? They just announced the recent fight night. Obviously, I thought, they made some Knucklemania. Obviously some of your Smith teammates are going to be having some fights coming up. Which matchup are you most excited for, man? Obviously there's some of the main card ones. I want to see where your excitement is for either teammates or matchups that are coming up.
Right now, I got my focus on the main event for the January bout for that strap, that welterweight strap.
Yeah,
I want to see who comes out on top.
Brito and Caleb Harris.
Yeah, Brito and Caleb Harris. I'm just watching. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure everybody knows that that's my weight class. So everybody's on the menu.
No, that's it's one reason I wanted to ask you. had Elvin on over the past year. Caleb's always been a tough fighter. Obviously, 170-pound welterweight. That's your home. Obviously, you have a vested interest to see what's going on there. How do you feel that's going to, way early predictions, obviously, where, we got almost a whole month to go before this fight happens. If you're putting your betting hat on and you're telling someone who'd you take money on, who would you actually bet money on if you're betting? You're a betting man.
To be honest, in this situation, I wouldn't do it. It depends. You know what I mean? I'm just watching to see
Styles
who
makes
comes
fight.
out on top.
It's a great matchup. Just want to see what your thoughts are. You don't have a favorite, man?
I do like. I in a way, I favor Caleb. You know what I mean, for certain abilities that he has, and just his way of going about, implementing certain things in the fight. I think that can cause a lot of problems for Brito, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun one. Go ahead, Daniel.
Is it more like you watching it? Is it more so research? Because just like you said, that's the division that you're in, and then they're the top guys on there. Are you doing so, watching it more so to see what you need to work on? Because those are guys that you could possibly fight in the future, and you want to kind of do your research and kind of see what you got to work on to get to that level, since you're just coming on up in BKFC. Is that more so what you're going to do?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm watching and learning as well. And, whoever they put in front of me, I'm just going to put that work in so I can get to that level, and who is ever at the top, or, who's ever is going to have that belt, waiting for me, that's who I have to take down.
Now, it appears that the Jake Paul saga is going to continue to go on, as he's made another ridiculous statement today. You catch any of that stuff? Are you paying any attention to that knucklehead?
The Jake Paul, nah, man. I haven't. I know a lot of people have been bringing that up. Like, man, I wish you could fight Jake Paul, man. Brad Knuckle, that'd be a show. I was like, yeah.
Why does anyone think he would fight Bare Knuckle, man? I don't get it.
Yeah, he wouldn't. I don't.
I mean, granted, like the fact that you have former MMA fighters and boxers a lot that are attracting right now, and it kind of seems like the road that he would go. But I think he has unrealistic expectations of who he is and what's going to happen moving forward. I think he has think he has a formula of a particular guy and things of that nature. You're a welterweight. I'll say it right here. He likes to fight guys around your weight when he's walking around at almost 200 pounds. He likes to pick on smaller guys, and as of late, he's been picking wrestlers at that, not even actual strikers. So it's funny, man. I get he's getting people talking about combat sports, and I think overall, it helps bring in those casual fans who probably wouldn't typically tune in. And I think he's helping somebody like Amanda Serrano kind of build her star and brand. I'll respect that side of it, but guy gives himself belts and is self-proclaiming himself this, that, and the third. I think it's safe to say right now the reason why you tune in is because of things of that nature. He's not a legit guy yet. Start fighting actual boxers in your weight class. Not retired welterweight retirees, and we can start having some conversations. Like I think we're still going to have this conversation just because he's got himself in the public eye. Do you think overall it's good or bad for the sport? What do you feel?
I guess a little bit of both. Like you said, he brings the casual fans.
I think Dana White said this a while ago. Like, listen, you either entertain it or you don't. But we all know it's a sideshow at this point in time. But doesn't necessarily mean that it's all bad. It has its place. So apparently the sideshow is able to kind of build their own thing now. I mean, we've had celebrity boxing and things like that for years. It's just kind of taking it to a new spin and a new level. It's the new shiny toy everyone wants to play with. It'll eventually be figured out and someone, and kind of move on. I think at some point in time, either he'll become a legitimate fighter, or he'll get figured out and out and ran out. But that's just kind of how I feel about it.
I will say that I wouldn't discredit him as a fighter.
I'm not sitting there saying he has to put in all the work in. I'm just sitting there when you look at it now with what he hit where he thinks he is in kind of this realm is not there yet. Like you haven't fought in the guys yet to put yourself there. But I don't fault him for shooting for those stars and things of that nature. Like I know a lot of people are picking apart that that fight. Oh, it's rigged. Listen, I'm not sitting there saying it is or it isn't at this point in time. I'm sorry. I don't think it was. I could be wrong, but I'm sitting there. If I'm looking at it, I want to see what I've already said, and I think Dana White hit it on the head. Start doing some proper drug testing and start fighting some real guys, and you'll get that credit in those numbers you're looking for. I promise. Yeah,
absolutely. And that conversation is not that conversation won't last long. It's always one of those things that comes in and gets swept back under the rug.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I still feel the reason why we wound up with Tyron Woodley instead of Mr. Fury is because of the whole drug testing thing. I think it was pretty well and clear. You could say, you can naysay this and say that. Obviously, performance enhancing drugs is a part of combat sports, whether you like it or not. People do it. People cheat. Either you get caught, you do it the natural way, whatever. It's on you. We see it all over MMA, boxing, bare knuckle boxing. That guys have done it. Some guys are openly sit there and say, "Oh, I'm 100% natural now." And then you have guys. Oh, I don't
look at this as the what is it? The end all be all. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a life outside of fighting, so in no way would I even consider it making sense, to damage yourself, because you got to live outside of this, you know what I'm saying? And that stuff, we see the effects that it does psychologically. We see people having heart attacks left and right, you know what I'm saying? People dropping dead in their 30s.
Stuff in your body, regardless if it's helping you doing something like that, it destroys something. So that's all I gotta say.
Exactly.
You losing something, regardless if you losing something physically on the back end after the fact, or you lose something mentally too. You're losing something.
Exactly.
That's why a lot of people are loud and proud that they're 100% natural. They put in the hard work, etc. Listen, we have dark and gray areas of combat sports, just like there's dark and gray areas and parts of every sports moving up. It's still these sports are still young when we're talking about aspects of combat sports. So we'll see things change over the years.
Absolutely.
I guess I'll throw it back over to Daniel, get a few more questions and get you on your way and let you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, one of my last questions I had was going back to BKFC. Knowing that you're a boxer, was it a nice thing to have a different avenue to go to where you can actually use the boxing background to make a difference? Because you only did a couple pro fights. And I know you wanted to transition over. Was there any reason why you transitioned over to BKFC? And do you think it's a great thing to have that option to go there?
Mm-hmm.
Because do you feel that way?
Yeah, I feel like when I saw the opportunity, I had to jump on it because it matches my demeanor, it matches my style. It just suits me more. So I felt like this is the platform that can catapult me in the combat world versus boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's much more political. You know, of course, it's more corrupt. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that goes into that. So instead of me going about it and being this journeyman on the come up to, you know, I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just take this road with BKFC. It's a young platform. You know, I'm in my prime, and I can excel because it's such a great network. It's such a great network, and it boosts guys up. You know, that wouldn't otherwise have that opportunity to move up.
Now, I want to get one in there. You know, obviously we talked about fighting. We talk about your promotion. What are some of your passions outside of the sport? As we were just talking about, you know, you have to do things outside of things. So what are some of the things that get you passionate outside of fighting?
So I just, you know, being with my children, my wife. You know, I do a lot of researching things and you know, financial markets. You know what I mean? So I'm always looking at things in financial markets and stuff, investing, stuff that's trending. As I said, you know, life after this, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always looking for different investment avenues and vehicles to create wealth, you know.
Yeah. I'm definitely with you there, man. You always gotta find ways to keep you know, money streams coming in. So definitely don't fault you there, man. You know, obviously you see the logo on your chest there. Obviously you're big into the cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah. You sit there.
Daniel, anything else before we let Ronell enjoy the evening and get him out of here?
He mentioned his family. Like, I've always wondered, how has it been like just balancing out both your career and then your family life? Has it been difficult at times? Have you found a way to do it perfectly where you can kind of do 50-50, or like do you kind of have to like focus more on your career right now than less with your family, and then when you get comfortable you can kind of make it 50-50?
Yeah. In that regard, it's difficult. It's never easy with that. But that also goes into you know, being with a partner that understands that it takes a lot of sacrifice on this path that I'm on. You know what I mean? So I have to be laser focused, you know, so the outside chatter and those things, you know, I can't let that stuff, you know, affect my training, you know, and my focus. So it plays a big part, you know, just having the right partner. You know, that I think
that's
I would
important
say
in every aspect of life, and you know, in
the
your
balance.
career, in life, everything like that. Having the right people around you is so important, man. So important.
And you know, the balance part is extremely difficult. You know what I'm saying? Becoming elite.
Listen, man, trust me, you know, just in life in general, I hear it. And then, like I said, you guys are athletes on top of it, doing this training and everything else. Like, God bless you, brother.
Thank you. I can only imagine how much more difficult it is with you working your way up. It must be even more difficult.
Yeah.
Because you gotta have to like build your brand, build your name. Because then when you get built up, it probably gets a little bit easier, because even though you still got to put the work in, at least your brand is built then. Right now, you're building it. You're going through the building blocks now to get to that point to where you can spend more time with your family, because you won't have to put as much work in.
Exactly. At least from that side, you know, the marketing side, always on social media, you know, posting and, you know, just trying to be seen and heard. You know, that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's why you have good people around you. You know, good management team. Got to give a big shout out to Kevin and the guys over at the Smith Brothers for hooking us up with you here tonight. What I typically do here at the end is kind of throw that proverbial microphone over to you, man. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, shoot out your social media sites that you have to let people know where to follow you there. Any sponsors you want to give love to, and anything outside of your general fighting stuff where you want to let people know stuff to get involved with, it's things of that nature. The time is yours, my friend.
Oh, good, man. Just everybody that supported me, everybody that's rocking with the Black Rhino on this journey. It's hard, and it's beautiful to have that support, from everybody that's tuning in, even the new fans, that I've gained, just from this past performance. I appreciate everybody that's been tuning in and that's looking forward to seeing me in there, to be a lifelong fan of the Black Rhino. And moving forward, I'm looking to partner with sponsors, to help me on this journey in my camp. And just build my brand, help build my brand. You see that I have what it takes to be the best. So I'm looking to actually partner with sponsors moving forward.
I definitely hope having here on you tonight. Hopefully we can get get this interview out there, get you hooked up with some more sponsors to help you along this journey. I know it's definitely not easy. It ain't easy for us either. Yeah. So I definitely feel you there with wanting to get people on you. With believe in you, the same way that your family, friends, etc. But believe in you. It's not an easy thing. Obviously. Our good listener Daniel, definitely loving your energy. Definitely a real dude. So appreciate your time tonight, man. Wish you best of skill in your upcoming fight whenever you get locked up here early in 2022. Hopefully we can get you back on here again when you get either before or after the fight, and we'll hopefully it won't be too long after that, but if not, we'll definitely reach back out and talk to Kevin and your guys and get you back on here. Definitely was fun learning a little bit about you. And we'll see what the next chapter has for Mr. Riley, the Black Rhino. Appreciate the time.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you want to add before you go?
And shout out to my Smith Brothers family. You know what I mean? Can't leave them out. Huge factor in my success. You know what I mean? Kevin Smith and the Smith Brothers team, man. It's a blessing to be a part of the family.
Yeah, they're definitely awesome. Got to definitely give some love to Kevin and guys, and appreciate the time tonight. Right now, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll get you back on here, my friend. Appreciate everything.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me.
All right, everyone. That was Rhino, the Black Rhino. Riley definitely was a fun one. Really looking forward to seeing how he progresses in this the BKFC welterweight division. Obviously, this upcoming card, we got a big one. He's got a bright future, like me and you said. Like he's one of these young up and coming guys. Can't wait to see what he tends to do. We'll see how that all plays out for him. Hopefully,
you always want to catch the guys early, see how they do, and see how, like I said, the building blocks, see how they can just move on up the ladder.
We'll see him level up. Obviously, he's not always gonna get the win. He's not always gonna have the performance he wants. Obviously, even his last time out wasn't what he wanted. But want a quick change gears here. We didn't get a chance to kind of talk Sixers in that first hour, so. This last half of the segment is brought to you by the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. So many of us in our families have and deal with mental health and addiction issues. We are happy to support everyone over at the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. If you have anyone that need help, or if you need help, please call 856-651-8117. let's talk some basketball. Let's talk some Sixers. How are you feeling about our boys? Obviously, it's been rough. It's been, this season it hasn't exactly started how we wanted. We knew it was going to be a rough one with the whole Ben Simmons saga, but like some of the things we talked about on here, waited till about this time of year is normally when everything starts to matter. They're starting to put some wins together. Another big win the other night, over in those Kevin Durant Nets. JoJo, showing a little swag at the end of that game, getting the boys riled up. Looks like they're just starting to turn the corner here. Do you feel like that this is the team that they're just going to ride out with this season, or what are your grades for them so far this season?
I think a big thing with the season has been that's kind of hurt the Sixers has been COVID, because you had a lot of guys miss at the same time, significant time because of it. Embiid, Tobias Harris, a couple other guys. So you were depleted for a good 2-3 weeks. But a thing that came out of nowhere that kind of worked out with that has been the performance of Maxey. Had him be the guy for a good 2-3 week span where he was able to get his shooting going. I think the progression was showed on full TV the other night against the Nets, where that fourth quarter he was on fire from three. He hit 4 threes in the fourth quarter. It was kind of a back and forth type game. There was a span where Embiid wasn't even on there for the first half of the fourth quarter, because he had gotten hurt, and then he came back out. They said he was going to get put back in. They were just seeing how the team was going to do the first half, and they were winning. And they bring Embiid back, and of course he does his thing. But I feel like this team will only go like how those starters go. I feel like one thing they need to make known is Maxey needs to be the number 2. I feel like Harris has been playing number 2, but I feel like he's better suited in that 3 spot where he's the third scorer, because I feel like Maxey's been too up and down. Like he had 25 points against the Nets. The game before that, he only had 5 points. The game before that, 15. I want to see more consistency out of him. I think putting more importance on him will help out with that. Then have Tobias Harris. I do want to see him to add one more piece, because they're only going, I think, 9 deep right now. I think they got the starting 5, and then they got 4 guys right afterward. They have Drummond, they got Nan, they got
COVID's been rough on this team, obviously, but I still think, despite everything, the Sixers are in much better position than a lot of people should be, considering that Ben Simmons is still on this team, not playing games. They're doing this with basically, a depleted roster, for lack of a better term. I think Tobias Harris has been up and down the season. He's here he's on fire one game, he's non-existent the next. I think Steph Curry has been an absolute star the first half of the season. I think Tyrese Maxey is starting to kind of figure out his game and starting to ascend a little bit. I think Matisse Thybulle has really stepped up defensively and filled some of those numbers that you missed from Ben Simmons. He's not Ben Simmons yet. He does not have that skill set. I'm not saying that. I'm just sitting there saying he's giving you some of those numbers that Ben was giving you. At least I think he might be a better defensive player in all. If you think about it, he was a second or third team all defense, and he was only playing 15 minutes a game last year, because he does a little bit of everything. And I think he showcased it against the Nets, where he forced a couple turnovers on the Nets, with one with Harden and then even one with Durant. He just creates havoc on the other team's offense, because he has that long length. That's what you need him for. You don't need him that much for offense. You need him for that defense. And I feel like we haven't really missed. Of course, Ben Simmons has played like an all-star at times, but I feel like we haven't missed him as much as people think, because we're right where we want to be. We're playing with these great teams. We just beat the Nets. We are 19-16, but like I said, that's mainly due to COVID and having a lot of guys out. We went on that bad run I still think regardless of the fact that I give them a C plus, considering obviously you would like to see more wins. COVID, Ben Simmons, all these things, but I think they're starting to come together. We may or may not see a trade. I still think that Daryl Morey is absolutely holding Ben Simmons over the coals at this point in time. I don't blame him. I don't care. If it affects this team, so be it. It is what it is at the point in time. Us as content producers, fans, however you want to look at it, there's nothing we can do. We're just unfortunate bystanders for this ride. Wherever it happens to take us off at, it happens to take us off at it. I'm going to get ready to wrap it up in a few minutes. Our wrestling guys are going to go live with some wrestling talk. They're going to do some live reactions to the pay-per-view tonight. Make sure you guys are stay tuned for that. We're going to be back next week. We're going to get Daniel back on here another week, talking with Zach next week. I got a fun one for you guys next week. You already know what it's going to be. Eagles Dallas. It's going to be fun. I got a real fun interview, blast from the past set up. We're gonna have some great content. Don't forget the LeGarrette Blunt giveaway that I'm going to be doing at the Eagles tailgate. Don't miss that. We got a lot of fun stuff lined up for you early here on A2D Radio on Weekly Roundup early in 2022. I'm Steve. This was Daniel. This was an episode for us tonight. This is gonna kill us for tonight. Let's just switch it over to In This Very Ring. They're gonna be live on here in about a second as soon as I get off here. We will see you guys next week at the normal time, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live here on A2D Radio. I'm Steve. This was Daniel. We'll be back next week. You guys peace out and make sure